Big Bad
Hey y'all, my name
John.
is John Mitchell and I'm a certified financial coach. The purpose of this video and this channel is to teach you how to master the personal finance basics. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how much dividend income my $61,000 portfolio made in the month of July. I am currently a soldier in the United States Army, and one thing I've struggled with while being in this service is finding ways to create passive income. And that's what led me to learning about dividend stocks. Because whether I'm PTing first thing in the morning or doing inventories late at night or going out to a training event, I know that I'll always have dividend stocks to pay me no matter what. With all that being said, let's jump into my portfolio overview. Into our overview sheet, I'll give you a quick orientation of it and then we'll jump into the nitty gritty details. So first, this is the overview sheet where I track all the major stuff. We have the taxable brokerage at the top, followed by my Roth IRA, followed by my kids' Uniform Transfer to Minors Act at the bottom there. After that, we have the dividend growth sheet. On here, this is where I track the growth or decline of my dividend stocks, and this kind of helps me make a decision as to whether or not I should keep that stock in my portfolio. Next, we have the income sheet. This is by far my favorite sheet because I love seeing all the paychecks come in, and it's really gratifying to see the fruits of my labors, working my mind out all the time. Next, we have the data sheet. Here is where I attempt to approximate how much money in dividends I might make in the future, as well as how much my portfolio value might change in the future as well. And then I do the same thing for my kids. Back to my overview sheet. So to kind of give you some backstory as to why I'm doing this whole dividend portfolio is I read a book, Get Rich with Dividends by Mark Lichtenfeld. And in that book, he talks about being able to live off dividends. I never knew that was really an option, years ago. But as I was reading, I realized, oh, I like this idea. Instead of selling off my stocks, I just keep the dividends and never sell the stocks. In theory, that is. And so in the book, he talks about finding stocks with yields that are at least 4%, and then growth of that yield of at least 10% year over year. Come to find out, that's really hard to find those stocks, but it's been my joy to attempt to do my best in finding some of them. But that being said, jumping into our bridge account sheet to start, you can see we have in the top column there, column B, we have ticker followed by price, the current value, some more information there. But the one I'll highlight here, because this is not as common to see people track, is the cost basis yield. So this is my dividend yield based off how much I paid for the shares originally. The regular yield is, the one without the word in front of it, is the yield if you bought the same amount of shares I have of a specific stock. If you bought that today, or now the market's closed, but if you bought that, on Monday, come Monday, and it's roughly the same price, you'll have that yield at the time of purchasing. The next one, I'll breeze over the last, but income next is how much money I should expect to receive from that stock a year from now. My favorite part about this, though, is that it's going to be more than that because I reinvest my dividends. So I was, just throw that out there for y'all. And then we have a sum of all my income from dividends year to date, but we'll highlight that on the income sheet because it's more fun to talk about there. By and large, there's not too many highlights this month in our dividend portfolio. Nothing crazy really happened. But BTCI went up, but they're still down on their yield. As you can see here, I'm at 7%, which is pretty low. We'll talk about it more in a minute. But they're a company that actually you can better see it here for my income last, income next. So income in June, or a year from June, I should expect to receive just over 350. But now a year from July, I should expect to receive 338. So that's declined. I added a new stock. I don't think I added this in June. I think this was July. Was Sunoco or SUN. I added them because I wanted to add another stock into the mix, especially as a fuel stock with all the stuff going on with Iran right now. I thought the fuel play might be good to add on to my portfolio there. Rounding out the taxable account, my value is just over 30,500. My cost basis yield is 5.436%. A yield if you bought everything today would be 4.222%. Next July, so a year from now, I should expect to receive $1,615 or $13.02. And then, like I said, we'll round up all the dividends in the income sheet. Jumping down to the Roth IRA, nothing really crazy here to report as well. The big change was Bank of the Ozarks increased their dividend, which we'll kind of talk more about that next. But other than that, it was pretty quiet on this front. Our value for the IRA would be $30,915, which is pretty great. Our cost basis yield is 3.591%, with yield if you bought everything today of 3.174%. we should expect to receive $966.94. But like I said before, we're going to be reinvesting these dividends, so it'll be more than that for sure. And on top of that, all these dividends are tax free. So unfortunately, in the taxable account, I pay taxes on those dividends. So you're seeing 75% of what I actually am making because I'm paying taxes on those dividends. I hate paying them, but it is what it is. Rounding up the wife and My's portfolio, we are just over $61,500 with a cost basis yield of 4.508%. A yield, if you bought everything today, of 3.695%. A year from now, we should expect to receive $2,579.96 in dividends. Jumping down to my kid's portfolio, he has all the same stocks I do, not all of them, but the ones I think are the best value. Right now, his portfolio value is $2,695 with a cost basis yield of 3.916%. A yield, if you bought everything today, of 3.658%. A year from now, he should expect to receive $116 in dividends. And like I said, we'll cover income year to date in a few minutes. Moving to the dividend growth sheet, like I said earlier, Bitcoin technically kind of went up, even though they're still down quite a bit on the year, which was to be expected. I knew this was a risky play, especially with how Bitcoin has done this year as I guess as an asset, if you want to call it an asset. It's not done very well, so I knew this would go down. Um, so that's that. Sunoco increased their dividend, which I know you all wouldn't have known last month, but they increased it, which is cool. I think we'll see them pay our first dividend in September because they just paid out in June, so we missed that one. Jumping down to the Roth IRA, the big increase here was Bank of the Ozarks, or OZK. They just up from 46 cents a share to 48 cents per share, which is pretty cool. It's not often you see a bank pay such a nice yield, which again, they're like the 4 or 5%, I think, yield, and to have a growth of 14% is pretty amazing. So it's definitely, I think of a bank as a safer stock. So I'm glad that it performs really well for me. Like and subscribe to this video as it helps me see what content you all like and want to see in the future. Moving over to the income sheet, like I said before, this is my favorite sheet because I love the visual gratification of all the work I put in to manage this dividend portfolio. So again, we'll start with BTCI. They paid out this month, which was pretty great. Their number technically increased from last month, but again, their yield has gone down. They're not doing great, but I knew this going in. I wanted to see what it was like having this NEOS fund, so that's why I picked them up. Canadian Imperial Bank, I've talked about them pretty much every month, I think, for this year. I can't figure out what's going on with their dividend because Fidelity is telling me that they're paying $1.07 Canadian dollars, but it stayed the same the whole year. It's been $1.07 for Canadian dollars all year, and I don't understand why I'm getting paid less in dividends because it says there that their dividend yield and payout has not changed. So I guess my question is maybe I'm getting taxed more from Canada, which is possible, but I don't know the answer to that one, and I haven't found an answer yet, so I'll have to keep digging for that. FR paid out, great real estate company. Oh, love them again because they pay dividends every single month. They were my first monthly dividend payer. QSR paid out. SPYI, they're another NEOS fund. They paid out again. They're kind of holding flat and steady, which I'm okay with. And SPY is based off the S&P 500, so I got some S&P 500 exposure here through that. And then VC Properties paid out as well, which is pretty nice. If you'll notice here, I'm missing this is the like Fidelity cash account or bond account or something like that. I'm filming this on 31 July, so they officially will pay out probably Monday, since this is a Friday. But again, they'll probably be like $1 or something like that, so nothing too crazy there. Our total dividends for the month of July in the taxable account were $117.61. Our total dividends year to date are $632.64 in that tax account. And again, these are dividends, these are all after taxes for your reference. Jumping down to the Roth IRA, ADP paid out, Allstate paid out, EOG paid out, is that GPC? Yep, our first paycheck from GPC rolled in, which is great. Bank of the Ozarks again paid a really nice dividend, which we like to see. And then you can also see that cash account there from Fidelity. We're missing that too, again, because we're early, so we didn't get it. Our total number of dividends for the month of July in the Roth IRA, again, tax-free dividends, mind you, was $107.79. Our total tax-free dividends on the year so far are $533.51. For the whole portfolio after taxes, our total dividends for the year are $225.40. with a total dividends year to date received of $1,166.15. For my kid, he got a little $3, a $2, and a $4, totaling up $10 in dividends, and he's barely over 1 year old. So I'm excited to be bringing him in that money. His total dividends for the year would be $36.98. Moving over to the final sheet, the data sheet. Like I said before, this is the sheet where I attempt to approximate how much value my account will be worth in the future, and then same how much money can I be making in dividends on average every month into the future. So you can see here, these are the values for 2025. Again, there's the account value in December of 25 with the average monthly dividends for all of 25. And then the dividend growth, this is the growth from my yield of 2025 to my yield in 2026. So that's how, approximately my annual growth. I expect this to increase to hopefully that 10% mark by December, because a lot of companies like to increase their dividend at the end of the year. So hopefully we'll see that go by then. But even 7.8% is not a bad place to be for right now. Again, our current value is just over $61,000 for the portfolio. Our average monthly dividend is $166.59. Hey, that's awesome. I love it. I love showing my wife that we're doing great like that. And then we're just shy of $2,000, but I think with reinvesting, I think we'll cross the finish line at just over $2,000 at the end of the year. Like I said earlier, I talked about wanting to be able to retire off of dividends or have this money at least supplement my income into the future. And my wife and I, our average expenses based on budgeting right now are currently around like the $6,500 a month uh, amount. And so in 23 years from now, we might be seeing $6,700 a month on an average for dividends. Again, we'll see how that holds up. But ideally, I'd like to have $10,000 because, yeah, our expenses right now may be $6,500, but we only have one kid. We'd like to have more, so that's going to go up for those expenses. And we also like to invest in the stock market and do all this great content for you. So really, I'd like it to be closer to the $10,000 mark a month on average, and that would put us at 25 years from now. So please join me on the ride, see how that plays out, and see how this dividend portfolio performs. You all got something out of today's video. What I wanted to show you through this dividend portfolio is you don't need to be anything crazy to start making some passive income. I know at this point in my portfolio, I'm up to $61,000, which has been pretty great, but it's been some really dedicated investing over the last 3 and 4 years. So this didn't just happen overnight. If you're looking for a financial coach to help you better understand dividend stocks and maybe, just maybe, build a dividend portfolio of your own, sign up for a free appointment today with link in the description or in the comment section down below. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see y'all in the next video.